Lamb shoulder is one of my favorite slow roasting joints, and it's extremely easy to cook. We all know you first cook it at high heat to give it a bit of browning, flavor, and then you slow cook it at a lower temperature for 5 to 6 hours. It's going to be fork tender. Today, I want to show you a different way of enjoying lamb shoulder by cooking it at a slightly higher temperature for a slightly shorter period, providing you with a different texture. And to help us achieve that, we're going to use an insane amount of fresh garlic. Fresh garlic, if you could get your hands on them, is a wonderful, wonderful treat. It has a way more subtle flavor than the dry garlic that you normally find in supermarkets, making this the perfect accompaniment for slow roasting meat. So let's cook some lamb. With lamb shoulder and any slow roasting joint, the most important thing to do is to salt it at least a day before, ideally up to 3 days. One, to give it time for the salt to season the joint evenly. But secondly, and more importantly, for the salt to break down the long protein strands and turn them into shorter amino acid strands. This would A, tenderize the lamb, and B, significantly improve the moisture retention capability of the lamb, making it way juicier. And it's very important that you leave it uncovered in the fridge, so the fridge will actually dry out the surface, making the initial browning much easier. Now, one optional step before browning is to score the fat cap, helping it rend out the fat quicker. Perfect. Now, add some oil. Just to prevent it from sticking, we add our beautifully scored lamb shoulder, tuck in the thin part, just for some even cooking. With this recipe, because we're going to add the wild garlic later to act as a semi-foil to cover the lamb, it's very important that your roasting tray is similar size to the joint. Otherwise, you'll spend a lot of time trying to pick up the garlic pieces to put them back on top of the lamb. Now, we oil the other side, just for even browning and even heat. We'll drain off most of the fat anyway, so don't worry about too much oil. And the lamb is going to render out a ton of fat. Now, for the first part of the cooking, the lamb has to go in solo because we want to blast this at high heat, and that will burn the garlic. So we have a preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius, and this beauty goes into the top shelf for about 30 minutes. All right, after half an hour, the lamb comes out. As you can see, a lot of fat has rendered out and it's taken on this wonderful, wonderful golden brownish color. So now, instead of covering it with tin foil, like our other recipes, we're now going to utilize these wonderful fresh garlics. And because lamb has unsaturated fat, the contact between the flesh of the garlic and the lamb would actually bring a tremendous amount of garlicky goodness to the surface of the lamb, making this an extremely beautifully garlicky cut of meat. So all we have to do, we treat the top like you would a leek. So you want to trim off the dry bits. Another beauty about the fresh garlic is that even the skin becomes edible after long cooking with the lamb fat in the oven, and they are just extremely tasty. Now all we need to do is that we cut them in half. So now we simply cover to the best of our abilities. You can alternate the pattern if you wish. Now you see what I mean about the container being the same size. And just like the lamb, to help them get started and cook more evenly, we're going to baste them with the lamb fat. And this will also help them distribute their flavors. I normally don't add any garlic at the bottom because just by having the roasting juices, the garlic flavor would be distributed to the bottom of the tray. Perfect. Now, this goes back in to a reduced oven at 150 Celsius. Bottom shelf for 2.5 to 3 hours so that the lamb shoulder would maintain a bit of a bite. I'll see you in 2.5 hours. After 3 hours in the oven and a 30-minute rest, we have this beauty. It's very important to rest your joint after roasting to give the protein fibers time to relax and to retain their juices. It's also important to rest the lamb with the garlic. Otherwise, the lamb fat that's in contact with the garlic would start to solidify, and there's nothing worse than solid lamb fat. To plate this beauty, we take a very, 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 very warm plate, again, to avoid solidified lamb fat. And for me, this is a bread dish. The garlic, the lamb jus, screams for some bread to mop up the goodness. So, we slice some bread. And to take a page from one of my favorite restaurants, Santo Mare, we alternate garlic, bread, garlic, bread. I mean, this alone is a wonderful, wonderful dish. Now, the beautiful lids. With any lamb joint, I'm always extremely reluctant to carve more than I'm serving because it's important for the lamb to retain some heat, to not let the fat solidify. So all we do, we take out the bone in the middle. I mean, at this point, the bone should offer little to no resistance. You don't have to. To the bottom. Heat retention. Now this beautiful boneless creature is right in the middle. Oh my God, look at that. Look at this beauty. And the last thing we need to do, we skim off the excess fat. You can save the lamb fat to roast some pointy cabbage, some carrots, and now this beautiful garlicky jus. I mean, there might be bread equally tasty, but there won't be bread tastier than this. And that's it. Lamb shoulder roasted with a ton of fresh garlic. I really hope you enjoy. Oh no, where's my wine?